Manu is continuing to converse with Kardama Muni. Okay, and he is introducing his daughter here to Kardama Muni. The previous few of the shlokas, conversations, we saw how Svayambhuva Manu was expressing his gratitude towards Kardama Muni. First of all, he glorified the position of Brahmanas. Kardama Muni is a Brahmana by quality and also a devotee of Lord. And Manu also glorified his fortunate situation for having been suitably instructed by Kardama Muni, because Kardama Muni also instructed Svayambhuva Manu. Kardama Muni was actually in fact glorifying the position of a Kshatriya and what exactly a Kshatriya should be doing, the duty of a Kshatriya in terms of protecting the Brahmanas. And having heard that instruction, Svayambhuva Manu was expressing himself to be a fortunate person for having received that favor of being instructed by Kardama Muni. So that was the mood of Manu when he received the instruction, and that is a mood that is also expected by a person who is receiving an instruction. Everyone has to receive instruction because that is the system, that is the arrangement. One has to receive instruction from another, especially the superiors. Brahmanas are superiors in position than Kshatriyas. So Kshatriyas are always guided or instructed by them. And for that matter, anyone, including us also, we receive instructions from various authorized sources. So here we can see how Svayambhuva Manu, what was his response when he was instructed. So that is what is expected from the devotees also. We receive instructions from different sources, from authorized sources. So how one should reciprocate, how one should respond to the instructions when it is received, especially when it is coming from a authorized source. And especially it is received from a person who is authorized to instruct, because even to instruct there is a authority that is required. It is not that anyone can instruct everyone. There are protocols governing instructing people, and at the same time no one can live in a way that I will not be instructed by everyone, I cannot be instructed by anyone, I can be on my own, I can be self-guided personality. So that is not possible. So that is a system. So after being instructed, Svayambhuva Manu is in a mood that he is appreciating or feeling himself fortunate that he was able to receive that favor. So that is the consciousness of Manu. So mood should be that he should feel that he is being favored by person who is instructing him. So person who gets the instruction should have that understanding that he is being favored. Generally, when the instruction is in good sense, say a positive instruction, instructions are always positive. They are never negative for that matter. But depending on our consciousness, we take sometimes instructions as very palatable, or sometimes the instruction may be not palatable. Otherwise, instructions are always palatable. It is depending on our consciousness we measure whether the instruction is palatable or bitter. But whatever it is, the response is that one should feel being favored by that instructions. And one should feel gratitude towards the person who is instructing. So that is what is the mood of Svayambhuva Manu here. He is speaking to Kardama Muni in this consciousness. The response after having received instruction determines in what mood he actually received the instruction. Generally, in a conditioned state, if someone is instructed, so he feels he will express his rebel. So that is a test whether we rebel or whether we feel fortunate of being instructed, because the instructions are always for the benefit of person who is instructed, specifically when it is coming from a authorized bona fide sources. So if one is not rightly situated, so one will feel that why am I instructed? One may think that I know better. If the mood is that I know everything, I have the understanding of everything, why I should be instructed. So if this is the consciousness, then that can be immediately seen in the response after having received the instruction. So here we can see Manu is very modest in his behavior, he is humble in his behavior, and he is submitting himself to Kardama Muni for being favored by him by being instructed. And further here, he is introducing his daughter Devahuti to Kardama Muni, who is also looking for a suitable wife for carrying his duties. So here it says, Priyavrata Uttana Padoho Swaseyam Duhita Mama. He is introducing his daughter in two dimensions. One is he is introducing his daughter as sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Swaseyam Duhita Mama. She is also my daughter. And Anvichatti Patim Yuktam. She is also seeking for a suitable husband. Of what nature? Vayahashila Gunadibihi. Seeking a suitable husband of a right age and of a good qualities and also of a good character. So we can see here important aspect. We can see how in the Vedic civilization, when the matches are made, the Vedic system is that in the society, it was based on not on the beauty, not on any material characteristics, but it was based on spiritual characteristics. The Shila and Guna Adibihi referred here, they are not material guna or material characteristics. They are based on spiritual characteristics. And these characteristics are very easily obtained in the Vedic age, because that was the education system that was prevalent at the times of in the Vedic society. In the Vedic society, there was an arrangement where from the young age, the education was imparted in such a way that these good qualities and characteristics are naturally imbibed in one's behavior. And we know that Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumaram acharet pragnaha, from the age of 5. So a boy or a girl is suitably instructed, is suitably trained in a way that these good qualities are naturally imbibed. There is a saying that a plant or when a sapling is easy to mold when it is in the stage of a plant. But the same plant, when it grows up in the form of a tree, so it is difficult to mold. So at the young age, it is easy to mold one's nature and behavior. What is very difficult now for us to mold is very easy to be molded at the young age. Say, suppose we have, in the ashram life, we are trying to practice many austerities, like rising up in the morning, respecting Vaishnavas, having a good dealing between the devotees. So all these were naturally molded in the young age, in the Vedic society. It is easy to imbibe these culture in one's nature and qualities. So that's how the education can be seen in one's qualities. So effect of one's education can be actually seen in one's qualities that is developed in one's personality. Just like if someone is diseased, if someone is taking a proper medication, so effect of medication can be easily seen in terms of one's cure. Similarly, the effect of good education must be reflected upon one's development of good qualities. So education doesn't merely mean that one has some certificate or some degree, and by that one himself calls as being educated. Someone may be an engineer, someone may be a PhD, double PhD, triple PhD. We see sometimes people have multiple master degrees. So such kind of education alone doesn't qualify one has to possess good qualities, but the effect of education should actually reflect in one's character. Effect of education should actually reflect in terms of development of good qualities in one's nature. So good qualities or education or having bad character doesn't go together anytime. But in the age of, in the current scenario, someone who is having good education, but he may not be having good character. Not necessarily someone who has good education would necessarily have a good character in his behavior. But in the current scenario, it is such that someone who is having good education, although he may not have good behavior, he may have ill behavior, his nature may be not supporting, reflecting the education that he has, or the education qualification he has, but still in the society he will be respected as a very, very, very learned person. That is a fact. We see sometimes devotees when they have, so to say, they have good qualifications, academic qualification, people appreciate. I doesn't mean that I am trying to say that devotees don't have good qualities, but I am trying to say that devotee people in the current scenario, they just bank upon one's educational qualification. So good education alone is not reflection of good personality, but the real education, that education should translate in terms of possessing good qualities. So that's what we can see here in this purport. Prabhupada is explaining why Manu emphasized upon or introducing Devahuti for being connected in terms of her brothers. Manu is introducing Devahuti as sister of Priya Vrata and Uttanapada. Both are great kings. We have heard about them sufficiently in various portions of Bhagavatam. Both are great celebrated kings, and both are brothers of Devahuti. And Manu is introducing Devahuti in terms of their relationship. So there is a reason why Manu is introducing like this, that Prabhupada is clarifying in the purport. Because Manu wanted to emphasize on Kardama Muni that Devahuti is not a person who is born of a low family. Kardama Muni was looking for a suitable wife, having a right age and right Sheela and right characteristics. And it is important for Manu to emphasize that the Devahuti is not of a low qualities or of a low birth in nature. Because someone who is of a low birth, they are accompanied with lower modes of nature. Someone who is having the low birth, that means they are influenced by the mode of ignorance and passion. However, that doesn't mean that they cannot progress in their spiritual life. That is a different understanding. But generally, person in the low birth means is having connection with the lower modes of nature. They are influenced by lower modes of nature. And Kardama Muni is in the mode of goodness. He is a Brahmana. So the ideal combination is that the person in the mode of goodness won't choose a person in the associated with mode of the lower modes of nature. So Manu is assuring Kardama Muni that my daughter is not of lower modes of nature. She is also a well qualified woman. Because person who is born in a good family, like here in an aristocratic family, they are naturally bound to have good qualities. So good birth is one of the symptoms of having good qualities. Although good association and good education are also equally important for developing good qualities and good characteristics, but having a good birth and in an aristocratic family like here, the Devahuti is referred here, one naturally has the good qualities. So, what is exactly good birth? Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita, good birth is identified in terms of any birth that is taken place in a Brahminical family or a birth that happens in an aristocratic family. So, good birth is generally seen in these two terms, either birth in a Brahminical family or in a aristocratic family. And anyone who takes birth in a Brahminical family, the atmosphere is already made, arranged in such a way that children have an opportunity to rise up their consciousness or get qualified with good qualities. And similarly, those who take birth in an aristocratic family, they also have equal opportunity to develop their good qualities. Prabhupada says, especially to the Westerners, to his American disciples, that you American boys and girls, you are fortunate to have a good birth. So now, by right association, one can develop good qualities. So, Krishna assures that anyone who has done some devotional activities, but for some reason is not able to continue his devotional activities, for them also, Krishna assures they will get an opportunity to take a good birth, like a birth in a Brahminical family or in an aristocratic family. So, birth alone now it is not sufficient enough. One may seem that I have now good birth. I have taken birth in a Brahminical family or in an aristocratic family. But if they have a bad association, so instead of developing good qualities, they will develop bad qualities. So birth alone is not sufficient enough. Good birth alone is not sufficient enough to have good qualities. If we somehow come in contact with bad qualities, then the virtue of having a good birth is also lost. So along with good birth, good association is also very, very important. Just like there are many instances, there are many great personalities we have heard in the Bhagavatam, like Banasura, or for that matter, Narakasura. Narakasura is supposed to be son of Mother Earth, and son of Mother Earth and God, Supreme Personality Godhead Himself, because Mother Earth is considered to be the consort of Supreme Lord. So Narakasura, such a great birth, directly the son of Supreme Person. But in spite of having such a birth, because of association of asuras like Chanura, Chanura and other Banasura and many other demons, Narakasura lost his all good qualities. So birth alone is not sufficient. One has to have good association as well along with good birth. And third important factor is to have good education. So education is also equally important. By education, one's nature gets refined, one's behavior gets, so to say, refined. He will behave at least like a human being. Education makes a personality little refined, not crude. He knows how to himself behave in different circumstances, in different scenarios, in a Vyavaharik level at least. But among all these three factors, if one doesn't have a good association, if one doesn't have a satsanga, even though one may have good birth, one may have good education system, but if doesn't have a good association, one will not get the benefit of acquiring good qualities and characteristics. So we have ample examples, like for example Ajamila. Ajamila had a very good birth, he had a very good education, but somehow or other he came in connect with a prostitute, he had a bad association, and whatever good qualities which he acquired was also lost. Forget about acquiring good qualities. By bad association, one will even lose the good qualities which he has already acquired. That's why we see sometimes someone who was having a very good behavior, good qualities, suddenly we see a change in their nature. Sometimes we see they acting in an indifferent way, so to say, not putting forth a good character or a behavior. So that's why it is very important that one stick to the satsanga. One should remain in good association so that one's good qualities is not just developed, but they also continue to remain in that good qualities. And we also have an example of Prahalad Maharaj. Prahalad Maharaj, his birth is in Asuric family. He was tried to be educated in demonic principles. Shanda and Amarka were their demonic gurus, demonic teachers who tried to impart demonic philosophy. But because of association of Narada Muni, we see that Prahalad Maharaj is celebrated as a great devotee of Krishna. So this is what is significant to be understood. And even Chanakya Pandita also, for that matter, also explains that how one is not considered as a learned person, or education alone is not sufficient enough for someone to develop good character. Good character actually comes in the form of one's nature, one's behavior, how he deals with people, how he deals with different kinds of people. During those dealings only actually these characteristics of ours will actually manifest. So Chanakya Pandita says, very important principle, what should be an ideal character of a person? What is that? Chanakya Pandita says, Matravat Paradharyeshu. That is the first and foremost important characteristics that a man should develop. That someone should develop the quality of the characteristic of seeing every woman as mother. So if a society is guided in such a principle, then there is no question of someone who is becoming victim of or coming under the psychology of lust. With a mother, we never associate with any other behavior other than motherly behavior. We deal with mother in a motherly interaction. Assuming a situation when the society was prevailed in a situation that every woman was treated like a mother or seen like a mother or trained to be seen like a mother, then where is the psychology of lust? Where is the disturbance of lust? Or where is the trouble of lust for any person? But the current scenario, in absence of such situation, we can see how we see many undesirable things happening in the society. And even for that matter, even women also don't like themselves to be addressed as women. That is also another fact. That is a situation. If you address someone as a woman, some women as a mother, they may think, am I looking so old? You are calling me as a mother. आपको लगता है मैं इतना बूढ़ा हूँ? Sometimes we have to be cautious whether to address some women as a mother or we should just call her as a madam. And we try to do that, in fact, because that is the situation. That is in a vyavaharik dealing, sometimes we may do that, but in the consciousness, it is clear that we should be considering every woman as a mother. So, that is a very first and foremost important characteristics that one has to develop. That was the Vedic standard. And Paradravyeshu Loshravat, one should consider others' wealth as good as filth. One is not interested in others' wealth. That was the Vedic standard. It was said that in Vedic Indian life, people would not lock up their rooms. People would not lock up their houses because there is no fear of any thief. No one would come to steal your money or your wealth. Of course, today there is an artificial arrangement in terms of law, stringent laws. Say in the Gulf countries, when we happen to be there, and we heard also, it is said that whatever you see in the street are lost, no one will take that. Because if someone is stealing or is caught stealing, there is a very severe punishment to that extent that there are very extreme punishments are given to the thief. So because of at least that fear, people are very, they are like, okay, they are fearless that my wealth is not looted, or they are very clear that my wealth is safe. But the Vedic tradition was such that it was a natural characteristic that one will not look upon others' wealth. It is not just the tendency is curbed by external regulation, but it was a natural behavior or a characteristic that one will not look upon others' wealth as one's property, or one will not think or envy upon others' wealth and try to somehow or other grasp the property for one's own enjoyment. He will consider others' wealth as loshravat. He will consider others' wealth as something which is useless. So that was the quality that is to be seen in a person who is educated. So that is the real education. And Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, he will see every living entity as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. He will see everyone in the connection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the connection with Paramatma. They will not see the external, the bodily features. He's animal, he's insect, he's a human being. So there is no discrimination. Everyone is seen. In a Vyavaharik level, there may be, at the point of interaction, there may be a discrimination. But at the soul level, at the conscious level, everyone, a Pandita or a learned person or a person who is really, so to say, educated, he sees everyone in connection with Paramatma. And by that culture, actually he is humble in his nature. That is called humility. Not that by getting education, one become puffed up by his education. So devotees also should be careful that by virtue of their, so to say, good understanding in philosophy or ability to speak good philosophy or subject matter, that should not yield in one becoming proud. One should, the real qualification, the real qualities is that one should always remain humble. Vidya should result in Vinaya. Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Vidya should make one acquire Vinaya. Not that Vidya should make one acquire pride. And by pride, one does not attract the attention of the Lord. It is by humility is what one attracts the attention of the Lord. It is by humility one prepares himself in receiving the highermost confidential instructions that is to be known by us. So that is what is important that we need to see here, that education system or education doesn't merely mean that one has some good panditya, but it should have been reflected upon one's nature and behavior. And we have many references what is ideal behavior, what is ideal characteristics. So further in the purport, Prabhupada also explains that how Devahuti, although she had a desire or she identified who is a suitable person, but she did not independently act upon to choose the husband. Prabhupada in elsewhere also in the purport he referred that a girl is not given a choice, or exactly Prabhupada uses the word, the girls are not put upon in the street to choose upon their own husbands. This is because Prabhupada further in this same purport he explains, because in the same context good to recollect, in the hallucination of sensual desires or enjoying a company of a man, or it can be vice versa also, a man in the hallucination of enjoying the company of a woman, one will fail to understand what should be the real basis of choosing a companion. The real basis of choosing a companion is on the spiritual grounds, not on material grounds. So, in such a situation, it may be possible that instead of choosing based on spiritual characteristics, one may look upon the material characteristics and defeat the very purpose of the marriage life. As earlier said, that one has to have like disposition. The man and the woman, when they want to get together in a family life, they have to be in a compatible state of mind. Both should together work for their own spiritual growth. But in the absence of this understanding, if they are allowed to choose on their own, so it may be quite possible that they may land up in wrong choice. That's why it is said that it's a responsibility of the parents that they choose the husband. The girl is, for the girl, the right choice is made by the parents, not by the girl herself. She may have the choice to express, like Devahuti is expressing her choice. And her expression of choice is not based on her own imagination. In the next verse, you see that Narada Muni is actually giving the hint to the Devahuti that Kardama Muni is the right person whom you are looking forward for guna anushilanam vayahashila gunadibihi. So it is also based on some authority. But it is important that Devahuti did not go and search for Kardama Muni on her own. In spite of, although the Kardama Muni is a right choice, Devahuti followed the protocol. And the protocol is that she expressed to her father. But Kardama Muni is the right person suiting to my character. And further, it was left upon to the parents to decide whether it is really worth or really of a same disposition or not. So that was the Vedic standard that was prevalent. And on that basis, the material nature or material characteristics doesn't come in way. For example, Kardama Muni is not from an aristocratic family. He is a Brahmana. He is living under a tree. He doesn't have a house for his own personal living. So, who will is materially, if you want to see, it's totally opposite in qualification. Devahuti is from an aristocratic family, and Kardama Muni is from, so to say, materially impoverished family. But the principal factor here is that the good age, vayaha, age is also another important factor. It's not that anyone can, say for example, an old man cannot marry. First of all, old man should not marry. Like we see in this situation, an old man also marries a young girl. So that is not the standard. Even in the Vedic standard says that age is also an important factor when someone is wanting to enter the family life. And along with age, the good qualities and characteristics also is equally important. And that is what the basis of this entire proposal that Kardama Muni is being made by Svayambhuva Manu. So that is what we see here, that how it is very much important to develop the good qualities and characters in one's behavior and one's conduct. And if someone is having good characteristics and good behavior, they are always celebrated everywhere. So what is exactly that good behavior? We know what is good characters, good qualities, so many good we have heard. But what exactly the good qualities mean, Bhagavatam also very nicely enumerates. This is an enumeration made by Shuka Muni while narrating the qualities of Prahlada Maharaj. The qualities of Prahlada Maharaj, we know that he is of good qualities and he is of good characteristics. But what exactly good characteristics mean is being narrated by Bhagavatam in these verses. It is narrated here, Brahmanyaha Shila Sampanaha Satyasanda Jitendriyaha. Brahmanyaha means one who is Brahmanical in his culture. Shila Sampana means one who has good qualities. Satyasandha Jitendriya. Satyasandha means one who is very eager to understand the absolute truth. Scrutinizingly, he is very eager to understand about the absolute truth. Jitendriya. Jitendriya means one who is self-controlled. One who has learnt how to regulate his senses. Atmavat sarva bhutanam ekapriya suruttamaha. Atmavat. Atma refers to here not our Atma, the soul, but Atmavat here refers to the super soul. Atmavat sarva bhutanam ekapriya suruttamaha. Just like how the super soul, the position of the super soul is what? it is Suhruttamaha. And Sarvabhutanam Eka Priyaha, super soul is equal to everyone and it is loving to everyone. So just like how super soul is dear to everyone, similarly, a person of good characteristics and good nature is such that he is also equal to all living beings. He is kind to all living beings and is exactly like a friend. He's just like how super soul is friend of every soul. Similarly, a person made of good qualities and nature is also a friend to every living being. Dasavat sannata arya angrihi. Dasavat means one acts like a menial servant, and sannata means one who is always obedient. To whom? Obedient to whom? Arya angrihi. Arya means one who is progressing in spiritual life. And anyone who is, those who are great persons, those who are progressing in spiritual life, those who are advanced in spiritual life, for them, he is dasavat sannataha. He is obedient to them and he is ready to serve them menially. This is the nature of a person, this is the quality of a person who is a devotee, who is a person who is having good characteristics. Pitravat Dina Vatsalaha. He is just like a father to every poor souls. Poor means doesn't mean here in terms of material, but also but very much in terms of their spiritual disposition. Bhratravat Sadrishe Snigdaha. He is just like a brother. Sadrishe means someone who is Sadrishe means someone to all the equals, and Snigdaha means one who is very attached. So, someone who is having a good characteristics, he exactly in his dealings, how he deals like a brother in terms of all the equals. So, someone who is dealing with his equals, he will have his brotherhood in his nature. Gurushu Ishvara Bhavanaha. Gurushu Ishvara Bhavanaha. Ishvara Bhavanaha means just like someone who deals with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he exactly deals with his Guru, with his superiors. Vidya Artha Rupa Janmadyo Manastamba Vivarjitaha. He is free from Vidya Artha Rupa Janma Manastamba. Stamba means pride. So, by having good vidya and because of good artha and because of beauty and having good birth, it may be sometime possible that one may get stamba. Stamba means one who is proud of these positions, and vivarjitaha means one who is free from pride that may arise because of good birth, good wealth, and also beauty. So, these are what is summarized as good qualities. And these good qualities are considered as jewels of a Vaishnava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, a Vaishnava is always in sadhachara. He is always, the qualities of Vaishnavas, he wears these qualities as an ornaments for himself. That means in his conduct, in his behavior, these good qualities are naturally to be seen. And these qualities can be manifested in someone provided if he is in a constant association of devotees, in a constant satsanga. Satsanga means, or sangha means, association means that association where one's eternal aspects of life is kindled. Today we are in, because of asat sangha, we have gathered many undesirable natures, undesirable characteristics. But by the sangha, the same good qualities can be manifested, and that's what we see here. Svayambhuva Manu is emphasizing upon Kardama Muni that the girl who is Devahuti is also of the same nature and same quality, and also has the good qualities which actually you are looking upon, and hence he is proposing here Devahuti to be accepted as a suitable wife of Kardama Muni. This is what we understand here. We stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.